11.6 Implement risk responses. Implement risk responses is the process of implementing agreed upon risk response plans. The key benefit of this process is that it ensures that agreed upon risk responses are executed as planned in order to address overall project risk exposure, minimize individual project threats and maximize individual project opportunities. This process is performed throughout the project as from PMBOK Guide page 449. How many times has this happened to your project? Be honest. You have got everyone together, identified and quantified risks, worked on the risk responses, developed an entire risk management plan, got it signed off, and then it goes into a drawer and is never seen again. The problem is that on many projects the project manager and team tick boxes without thinking any further about them. The risk management plan is of value only if you actually use it and keep it up to date, and that includes making sure that the agreed upon risk responses are actually executed by the risk owners. And it would be a failing of the project manager if she or he simply believes that risk owners will do what they have agreed to do. If you take that attitude that the risk owners own the risk and it's their responsibility, then you are wrong, plain and simple. The ultimate responsibility for risk responses belongs to the project manager. You can't escape the responsibility, so you need to check. Implement risk responses inputs. Number 1 is the project management plan. The project management plan components include the risk management plan. The risk management plan lists the roles and responsibilities of project team members and other stakeholders for risk management. This information is used when allocating owners for agreed upon risk responses. The risk management plan also defines a level of detail for the risk management methodology for the project. It also specifies risk thresholds for the project based on the risk appetites of key stakeholders, which define the acceptable target that the implementation of risk responses is required to achieve. Input number 2, project documents. These would include the lessons learned register, the risk register. It includes agreed upon risk responses for each individual risk and the nominated owners for each response plan, the risk report, which includes an assessment of the current overall project risk exposure, as well as the agreed upon risk response strategy. It also describes the major individual project risks with their planned responses too. Input number 3, organizational process assets. The organizational process assets that can influence the implement risk response processes include the lessons learned repository from similar completed projects that indicate the effectiveness of a particular risk response. But if you do see particularly good lessons learned that you want to implement in this one, have a close look at the environment and the circumstances around it to make sure it wasn't something specific to that project which isn't going to work on yours. Implement risk responses, tools and techniques. Number 1, expert judgment. Expertise should be considered from individuals or groups with specialised knowledge to validate or modify risk responses if necessary and decide how to implement them in the most efficient and effective manner. Tools and techniques number 2, interpersonal and team skills. This would be influencing. Some risk response actions may be owned by people outside the immediate project team or who have other competing demands. The project manager or person responsible for facilitating the risk process may need to exercise influencing to encourage nominated risk owners to take necessary action where required. Tools and techniques number 3, project management systems. These systems can include schedule, resource and cost software to ensure that agreed upon risk response plans and their associated activities are integrated into the project alongside other project activities. And remember that the exam will never refer to specific commercial products, so you never need to answer a question on Microsoft Project or Primavera or anything like that. Implement risk responses. Output number 1. Change requests. Implementation of risk responses may result in a change request to the cost and schedule baselines or other components of the project management plan. Change requests are processed for review and action through the Perform Integrated Change Control process. Output number 2. Project document updates. These include the issue log, lessons learned register, we hear these over and over again, project team assignments, the risk register. The risk register may be updated to reflect any changes to the previously agreed upon risk responses for individual project risks that are subsequently made as a result of the implement risk response process. The risk report may be updated to reflect any changes to the previously agreed upon risk responses to overall project risk exposure that are subsequently made as a result of the implement risk responses process. That brings us to the end of a surprisingly short implement risk responses section. The next lesson is 11.7 Monitor Risks. Please read the corresponding chapter in the PMBOK guide before watching the video.